The Travel Transformation Podcast is proud to be partnered with Give the Goodness Global, an amazing global outreach project helping families in need all over Southeast Asia and beyond. Please check them out at Instagram.com/Give the Goodness Global today. And now on to the podcast episode.
Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, the podcast that explores the life-changing potential of solo travel, intentional travel, and location-independent working. Whether you're an aspiring digital nomad or simply want to boost your confidence through epic travel experiences, I'm here to motivate and inspire you to go after all your wildest dreams. I'm Jessica Grace Coleman, author, travel transformation coach, founder of the Travel Transformation Company, and your host for the Travel Transformation Podcast. Travel changed my life. Now let's change yours. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things travel and all things transformation. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, or you can call me Jess, and this is just going to be a very quick solo episode. At least I hope it's going to be quick, because I hope it's not going to turn into a massive rant, because yes, angry. If you're on my mailing list, you will already have heard me mention this, but I just wanted to expand on it in a podcast episode. And if you do want to be on my mailing list, but you're not on it yet, you can go to traveltransformationcoach.com and sign up. If you want a free guide, Travel Transformation Principles, then you can go to traveltransformationcoach.com/free guide, and I will send you that as well. And then you'll be on my weekly mailing list where I talk all things travel, all things transformation, all things intentional travel, all things solo travel. I give you updates. And yeah, I sent an email. It was this week, but by the time you hear this, it will have been a few weeks ago. I wouldn't recommend colivings for introverts. And then I did the little thinking emoji, the one with his finger on his chin. I think I did 3 of those because I was like, And yeah, basically, I follow a lot of people online. I follow a lot of travel influencers online. Some of these people I have met in co-livings. I'm not going to say if this is one person I actually stayed in a co-living with or not, although I think I said it in the email actually. So yes, I stayed in a co-living with this person for a month, and she's very extroverted, very extroverted, which is great. And she had posted a reel, I think it was a reel or a video, about staying in a co-living. I was just looking at some of the comments, seeing if people found this interesting. Obviously I was there, so it was really cool to see this reel. I think someone had put, "This looks like hell for introverts." And I was like, I guess it could look like that for some people if they don't really understand what it involves. And either to that comment or to another comment, I think it was to this comment, another person had said, "I'm an introvert, but I would love to stay here." And "This looks like hell" comment, the content creator had replied, "I wouldn't recommend co-livings for introverts." I don't think she was being mean. She was really trying to help this person, help them decide if a co-living would be for them or not. And it wasn't said in a malicious way or in an anti-introvert way. Obviously, she was talking to an introvert, so it was all very nice. But my inner being just died a little bit. And I got really annoyed, actually, which probably says more about me than it does about the whole content and the reply. But it really got me thinking, because I have gone to co-livings. There's always been a mix of introverts and extroverts. I think it needs to be a mix of introverts and extroverts, just like the world needs introverts and extroverts and ambiverts and any other vert you can think of. It needs a mix of people. It needs a mix of personalities. It needs a mix of viewpoints and perspectives. I've said this in the email, that is literally the whole point of going to co-livings, is to live with people from different countries, different backgrounds, different personalities to you, who have different views, different insights, and you can learn from them and they can learn from you. And if you just go to a co-living and it's just exactly the same people as you, they're literally pointless. Yeah, so I think the entire point of co-livings is to have this mix of people. So that made no sense to me whatsoever. But basically, I just got really angry and I was just like, that is the biggest load of crap I have ever heard. Why the hell shouldn't introverts go to co-livings? And again, it wasn't said in a malicious way. It wasn't like, let's bar all introverts, they shouldn't come. It wasn't that kind of vibe. But the way I reacted to it really was interesting to me. And then I thought about it some more. And sure, some introverts will hate co-livings, especially if they're there for a long time. I am like the biggest introvert in the world. I've talked about this a lot. And on top of that, I've always been very shy, very quiet. So I've got the kind of double whammy of shy introvertedness. I hate being the center of attention. I hate all that stuff. And yet I go to co-livings. And one of the reasons I go to co-livings is because it is a great training ground for introverts, for shy people, for quiet people, for people who have social anxiety or travel anxiety or anything like that. And we have to go knowing that we do need our own space. So I would highly recommend, if you're any of the things I just mentioned, getting your own room so you have somewhere to retreat to. You can go off on your own, go for walks on your own. Lots of people did that. They went for a walk every day on their own, not to get away from people, but just because they need that time to rest, to relax, to recharge. It's just something you can do every day, or you can go to your room or whatever you need. So it's not like you have to constantly be around everyone 24/7. People go and do things in little groups, all that kind of stuff. When I was at the co-living in Spain, we actually had our own introvert club, at least for some of it, until the people left and I was the only one left in the club. So that was me, Basil and Bjorn, and Barbara from last year. I'm the only non-B name in the introvert club, actually, so I need to change my name. I don't know what it could be to something cool and exotic, starting with the B. So we had our own little introvert club, and I mentioned this in one of the podcast episodes before, I think on the roundup episode of my Basque Country pop-up experience this year, that one night we had the cops called on us, basically, for being too loud. It was like a Thursday night, about 10 or 11 p.m. We were outside because it was great weather. We had music playing, games were going on, drinks were being drunk, lots of loud screeching and laughing and things. Everyone was having a good time, and the introvert club was playing cards, still outside, still at the table with the group, still having a nice time, just doing our own version of it. And because we were playing quietly, we were the ones that heard the police banging on the fence and yelling, basically. Otherwise, no one would have heard them and they would have kept making noise, and it could have gone very bad because they were basically threatening to charge us €1,000 each for the noise disturbance. So there is a place for introverts at co-livings. We need to be the ones who look out for the police. But yeah, so we had our introvert club and that was great. And like I said, co-livings were made for introverts. The whole point of co-livings, at least the ones I've gone to, have been all about self-development, personal growth, and becoming the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And that involves workshops, skill shares, masterminds, throwing yourself into uncomfortable situations, things that I wouldn't normally be comfortable with, like a workshop where you have to do lots of exercises with lots of people and you have to put yourself out there. Or we had a house jam in the chapel where everyone chose a song and we did exercises, not physical exercises, although dancing, I guess, could be exercise. But we did fun exercises to each one where we played our own instruments and we danced and we did contact dancing, dancing in the dark, all that kind of stuff. All this stuff that really pushes me outside my comfort zone. But that is why I do it. I go to these places and involve myself in these activities I normally wouldn't involve myself in. So I can push myself outside my comfort zone, so I can grow, I can develop. And that is literally the entire point of at least Sun & Co., which is the main co-living house I've been to. I've been there 3 times. And they're all about community, connection, self-development, personal growth, learning from each other, and becoming the best version of yourself you can be. And like I say, for people like me, co-livings are the perfect place to test all this out and to really push yourself outside your comfort zone and boost your confidence and grow in ways you can't even imagine. Are you ready for adventure? Are you ready to become location independent? Are you ready to create your ultimate dream lifestyle? Then I have just the thing for you. The Flip the Script Academy with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. My online academy, which is bursting with life-changing courses and resources, is for anyone who feels stuck in life, wants to make a change, would like more meaning and purpose in their life, wants to shake things up, especially after the pandemic, wants to start or grow a business or side hustle they can run from the road, wants to incorporate travel into their lives in all kinds of different ways, or is simply ready for an epic transformation. For more info, just head to traveltransformationcoach.com/academy. And now, back to the Travel Transformation Podcast. My entire book is about this intentional travel transformation, which you can get now. Go to traveltransformationcoach.com/books for more info, or just search Intentional Travel Transformation on Amazon or Nook or Kobo or iBooks or wherever you read books. this is literally the whole point of my whole transformation. So when I hear someone say, I wouldn't recommend co-livings for introverts, I just get so angry because it's telling people they can't do something because of their personality or because of the way they are, or that they shouldn't do something, not that they can't do something. And I have lived with that my entire life. People telling me I shouldn't do things, or I can't do something, or assuming I can't do something because I'm shy, because I'm quiet, because I'm introverted. And after a while, you begin to believe that. And then you become the person telling yourself all these stories about all the stuff you can't do. So this is all the stuff about limiting beliefs that I talk about in my academy. I didn't mean this to be a massive promotional episode, but if you want to find out about my academy, you can go to traveltransformationcoach.com/academy. It's basically an online portal where I put all my courses, all my books are in there, my party packs, my guides, my resources, my videos to help you transform through travel. It's all about travel. It's all about transformation. So all about self-development as well. But basically, I got really annoyed at this. Maybe extroverts, like this person posting this comment, don't understand all this because they don't need to use co-livings as a training ground to do all this stuff. They're already extroverted. They're already out there. They already do things that make them uncomfortable all the time. Like that is kind of their personality. And that's great. Times I wish I was more like them naturally. And then that it wouldn't be so hard to push myself outside my comfort zone all the time, or so scary or so daunting or so overwhelming. But maybe this person just doesn't understand that yes, you can be introverted and not want to hang out with people 24/7 and be loud and do all that stuff all the time. But these are the people who get so much from co-livings. These are the people who can really benefit from this kind of environment. And to tell them that they shouldn't go, I think is just massively wrong. And it's a massive disservice to all the introverts out there who could be changing their life through travel, through solo travel, through intentional travel, and through staying at co-livings. But they might read that comment and be like, oh, maybe it's not for me. Or they might see it and not really think anything about it. But then a few months or a few years later, they might consider going, and then they'll be like, oh no, but remember that travel influencer said if you're an introvert, don't go to co-livings. And like, it's a tiny thing, but these things stay with us if we hear them often enough. Sometimes it literally just takes one time though. I wanted to record this podcast to let people know basically about if you're an introvert and you want to go to a co-living, do it. Go for it. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. But also there's like a bigger picture to this. And like I say, people like me, shy, quiet, introverted, social anxiety, hate speaking up in front of people, hate speaking up in general, hate being the center of attention. I have held myself back my entire life from going after things I want because other people have told me or have made me feel like I can't do it. And I have internalized that and have told myself enough times over and over again that I can't do something, that you believe it because, I mean, it's you telling yourself, why wouldn't you believe your own voice in your head or whatever? And I just want to a lot of my content is around breaking that down and just becoming fed up really with you holding yourself back, because that's what it basically is. You can blame all these other people and all these messages that you hear, and that does play a massive part in it. In the end, it's us telling ourselves what we can and can't do. So this person was wrong for telling that person co-livings are not recommended for introverts. And I was wrong, past self, me, for telling myself I couldn't do it. This was actually one of the things I used to tell myself as well. I'd been on the Sun & Co mailing list for years and years and years before I booked with them. And I only booked with them as part of my Flip the Script on Fear challenge that I did, that I've talked about on this podcast quite a bit. But yeah, I used to tell myself, like I would look at the Sun & Co website, I would look at the sort of dorm rooms, and as I said, if you can get your own room, do it. But I think I would look at the dorm rooms and I'd be like, ooh, I'm not sure I want to go there, or I'm not sure I want to share a bathroom. And again, a lot of co-living places, you can get your own room and bathroom, you just have to pay a bit more. And I talked myself out of it. And I did that to myself. But people saying things like, I wouldn't recommend co-livings for introverts, are not helping the situation either. So we're both wrong. And I just wanted to tell people that, first of all, if you're an introvert, absolutely go to a co-living, especially one like Sun & Co, where they focus on skill sharing and helping each other and learning new skills and self-development, because it will be one of the best things you ever do. And I think it is a way more unique and different experience for an introvert than it is for an extrovert who is just going to party and hang out with people. Both ways obviously are great, nothing wrong with either of them, but it's just a whole different experience if you're going there with an intention of putting yourself out there, learning new things, meeting new people, doing things you never thought possible. So definitely go, especially if you're an introvert. But also the bigger picture, if you've been telling yourself you can't do something for years, and it usually starts with other people, obviously, teachers, parents, TV shows, books, siblings, friends, like literally anyone you hear from that you like or respect or admire. If they tell you something, it tends to stick with you. But just know that that is someone else's opinion. It's not yours. Even if you've internalized it and you think it's yours, it probably isn't. And also, if it was true then, it might not be true now. So I would just encourage you to look back over the stories you tell yourself, maybe that you've been telling yourself for years, and reevaluate them. See, was this ever my story in the first place? Was it someone else's that I accidentally borrowed? See if it was true at one point, but now it's not true because you've changed, you've transformed. Or see if it is absolutely true and it's time to do something about it. That's what I did. I just got so annoyed with myself for holding myself back in so many areas of my life. That's why I did the Flip the Script on Fear challenge. That's why I went to Spain. Everything I did when I was in Spain, the co-living. And yeah, I just want you to reevaluate the stories you tell yourself, reevaluate the things you've been telling yourself you can't do or you shouldn't do. Just go out there and try things no matter what anyone else says. Especially if you're an introvert and they're an extrovert, because the experience of the world in general will be so different to yours, and their reasons for doing things like going to co-livings will be so different to yours. So you wouldn't take financial advice from someone who has gone bankrupt 5 times. You wouldn't take relationship advice from someone who is always miserable in their relationships. So don't take advice from someone who has a completely different personality to you when they are talking about things you should or shouldn't do because of your personality. It just makes no sense. So yeah, like I say, this person wasn't being mean, I don't think, or malicious. They were trying to help. But sometimes seeing things like that as an introvert, or apply this to literally anything in your life, to any personality trait, is not only ridiculous, but it's damaging because it makes people believe they can't do certain things, or they can't pursue certain goals, or they shouldn't do it. It stops people from trying new things, from going after they want. And I don't think anyone should ever be made to feel like they can't or shouldn't do something just because of the way they are naturally, because they're quieter or more introverted than the loud, bubbly extroverts of the world. Like I said, the world needs both types of people, and I believe co-livings do too. Co-livings, staying in co-livings, being one of the best things I've ever done. I'm so glad I didn't listen to myself and to other people that said, you shouldn't go there, it's not for you. Like, this environment does not sound like something you should be putting yourself in. And I'm so glad I've been doing all the things I've been doing over the past year, solo traveling, for example. I used to think I didn't have the confidence to do it. Now I think nothing of it because I've done it so many times. I used to tell myself that I made a bad first impression on people because I was so quiet. Like, maybe they would think that I was up myself, or that I thought I was superior, or that I didn't want to talk to them because they weren't talking to, or something like that. Which I know I have made that impression on some people. So I used to go out of my way to avoid meeting new people. And obviously going in co-livings, it's all about meeting new people. And yes, I used to tell myself that co-living sounded way too scary and overwhelming for someone like me. And for years I believed that, until I just got too fed up of my own shit, basically, and went out there and booked it anyway. So don't let anyone ever tell you you can or can't achieve anything in any area of your life. And don't give that person that kind of power. Even and especially if that person is you. I wrote a little list in the email I sent out. I basically went off on a rant, a lot like this podcast episode. I said I never thought I'd be able to do incredible things in life simply because I was a shy, quiet, anxious introvert. But even while being a shy, quiet, anxious introvert, I've done all these things and more. And then I listed them. So I've solo traveled to 7 countries, as well as doing extensive solo traveling around my home country, some on multiple occasions. I've stayed in several co-livings that have opened my mind to all the incredible possibilities in this world, and that have made me reevaluate my life and change the stories I've been telling myself for years. I've navigated my way around countries where I didn't know the language, I didn't know any people, and I didn't have a particular plan. I've written books, started businesses, made online courses and videos, and started my own podcast, all things I never thought I'd have the confidence to do. I've also pitched myself to publications, podcasts, and other media, and I've been interviewed for podcasts, YouTube channels, local radio stations, and local newspapers. All of those things were things I've been told over and over again that people like me shouldn't or couldn't do. And yes, that includes me saying that to myself. yeah, I wanted to record this episode. Basically, go to a co-living, but it's not just about that. It's about doing things even though other people tell you can't do it. When I talk about transforming as an introvert in co-livings and pushing yourself out there, it's not about changing like the core of who you are. You're always going to be that introverted person. It's just about showing you what's been inside you all along and bringing that out, showing you that you can be introverted and confident, you can be shy, and you can do new things. You can be quiet and anxious, and you can go solo traveling. It's not either or. And I just really want to get that message out there. I think I needed to get that message out there, bubbling up inside me, all the rage from my entire life. People telling me I couldn't do things, or me assuming that's what they were saying. Like a lot of the time, it's all in our own heads. I realize that sometimes you do actually get people telling you can't do that stuff. And I definitely have had that too. So it's other people, but it's also how you react to it, how you internalize that, and how you infer what other people are saying. No matter how it comes to you, just know that these stories might not be true. They can be reevaluated. You can retell them to yourself, or you can just get rid of them completely. Why not? So yeah, I hope this episode helped if you are introverted or shy or quiet or anxious or any of that stuff, any of that good stuff, because it's not bad stuff. It just means you have a different outlook on the world. And it means that things like solo traveling, intentional traveling, and staying in co-livings can be a whole unique experience and a life-changing experience. And that is the best reason to go in my eyes. Sorry if this got a bit ranty, but I had to let it out there. If you have any thoughts on this, please let me know. I'm on Instagram at Travel Transformation Coach. You can also email me at info@traveltransformationcoach.com. And again, if you want your free guide and you want to sign up to the mailing list, I promise not every week is a rant. A lot of it is me trying to motivate and inspire you to do intentional travel. It's called the Intentional Travel Club, as well as giving info on my own travels and itineraries and all that good stuff. So go to traveltransformationcoach.com/free guide. I'll put all these links in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped. I hope it encouraged you to reevaluate your stories you've been telling yourself. And don't let anyone ever tell you what you can or can't do in this life, and that includes yourself. Thanks for listening, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for listening to the Travel Transformation Podcast with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, rate and review, and spread the word, because it's my mission to help as many people as possible to flip the script on their lives and transform through travel. And remember, life is short, so let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.